No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. We're going to be talking about some cryptocurrency today. This is one of those areas. I get calls now and then from clients as well as from even family members and friends asking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. And is this a good idea? And should I, and is this something I should invest in? Is this something that would be smart to put money into? Is it too late? Is it, it's run up, the volatility on this has been crazy, and up to 20,000 at one point, down around 8,000, and all points in between. And this is an area which it got a lot of attention. It's piqued people's interests, but mostly what I'm hearing is like any speculative investment, if you want to call, and in speculation, I guess I should say speculative gamble would be better. Just like going to a casino and betting and gambling, or on racehorses or whatever it might be. These aren't things that when it comes to cryptocurrencies, these aren't things that are regulated. These aren't things that you're going to be able to, if you got into trouble as far as some fraudulent activity or that, who do you go to complain? Where do you go to get this fixed? These are some of the things we're going to be talking about out there, the risk involved in it. Just strictly from an investment standpoint, when we're talking about retirement, this isn't money you want to put your nest egg in, or anything you would want to put your nest egg in. What we're looking at here is more a speculative play. Simply, if you've got money that maybe you would go to the casino on a weekend and say, I'm going to go do this for fun, and if I lose the money, it's okay, I'll have the fun of it. Well, that's where you put your cryptocurrency dollars would fall into that same category. But helping me today, we got a special guest on, Frank Borger-Gilligan. He is the Assistant Commissioner with the Tennessee Securities Division. And Frank, you've been dealing with this from both a regulatory standpoint. Anytime, there was a great article you sent me about and talked about financial technology in general, and in that regulation typically lags behind these kind of things.
Yes, it does. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Yeah, regulation is something that, with any new technology is always going to lag behind the industry, and that's certainly where we are with cryptocurrencies and ICOs. So, I do want to stress at the outset that, I don't want to be here to give financial advice on whether you should or should not invest in a cryptocurrency or an ICO. But you do really need to be aware of the risks involved if you are to do so. ICOs can actually be a very good tool for entrepreneurs to use to raise capital, and we encourage that. We encourage the growth of the capital markets, especially here in the state. But if you are going to invest in an ICO, there are certain critical things that you do need to know.
Yeah, and to break that down for our viewers, ICO, initial coin offering.
Initial coin offering.
So basically similar to like an IPO might be for initial public offering with stock or something.
It can be, yeah, it can be, and that's something that we need to look at as regulators, whether the ICO is actually considered a security, and if it is it registered as a security? Does an exemption apply? If you're an investor, why should you care if it's a security or not? Well, there are a couple reasons. And one, I think, goes to the overall concern that we would have as regulators is the lack of information. The securities regulation is at its heart about disclosure and protecting investors and giving investors enough information so that they understand what it is they're investing in. And that's how you need to approach cryptocurrencies or ICOs if you're considering making that investment.
Right. So the more you can find out, and this is where are ICOs actually regulated? Are they securities? I understand there are unregistered ICOs. These are people putting these out there that are not going through maybe proper channels.
Yes, whether or not they're securities, that really is going to depend on the specific ICO. And the SEC is fairly clear that they think that most ICOs are unregistered securities. So again, why should you care as an investor? Well, if the SEC makes that determination that the ICO is in fact a security and it's not registered, and they decide to go after that ICO, that's going to drastically affect the value of your investment. So, and from a disclosure standpoint, these are things that you want to look at with any investment. Understand what it is you're investing in. So, what is a cryptocurrency?
Right.
So, you know, at its heart, a cryptocurrency is simply a digital form of currency that allows peer-to-peer transactions without going through a third-party financial institution.
And so, basically, this would be peer-to-peer, meaning that for this value to be there, someone has to determine, okay, here's what I'm going to be buying, or, you know, some form of, whether it's a car or a service of some sort. This is the purchase. Now, how many Bitcoin is it going to take, for instance, or whatever other cryptocurrency? First, that vendor has to be willing to take it. Right? They're accepting, yes, so this is a value, I will accept this value. And I think, I was trying to think of his name. Virgin Airlines, Branson.
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. So he was one that had, you know, I think the trip to the moon or whatever it was, thing, that he would accept cryptocurrency, or some forms of cryptocurrency anyway, for payment. Now, how much, I don't know what the cost would be. And that's the other part. So these people, basically, what a willing buyer and willing seller determine the value to be.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons it's so volatile. You know, you mentioned the value of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the most well-known of the cryptocurrencies. It was the original cryptocurrency, founded in 2009, and the price has fluctuated wildly. At one point, it was up to nearly 20,000. Yesterday, it was about 8,200. And you know, it's just, you don't see that kind of volatility with more traditional investments.
Especially in such, I mean, the amount of fluctuation percentage-wise just on a day-to-day basis is pretty crazy.
Yes.
And then if you have a problem, and this is one of the areas to think about when you're looking at cryptocurrency, as I said, first off, understanding the technology there, which for most is going to get lost pretty easily when we're talking about how these transactions work. Where do you go to buy it? How do you know, how is it regulated? How do you store it? What is it exactly that you're storing? So it's not a physical thing that you can hold.
No.
Right. So there's not actual little coins somewhere that you get to put away in a safe somewhere.
It is not. It is purely digital. How is your cryptocurrency held? Cryptocurrency operates on blockchain technology. Bitcoin operates on blockchain technology, and your money is stored in digital blocks. And that's the peer-to-peer transactions. When you open a Bitcoin account, you get what's known as a digital wallet, and your wallet contains a public key. So transparency is one of the other positive aspects. There are a lot of positive aspects, but that's one of them. You know, all transactions are transparent. So you can go and look and see every transaction if you know who is associated with that public code. That's going to be available for anyone to see. And then you'll have a private code, and that is what allows you to send money out of your digital wallet. So the concern with that is that because there's no financial institution, there's not a phone number to call. There's no, if you lose your code, you lose access to your wallet. So you know, obviously you want to keep that in a very safe location.
Okay. So think about that. You know, one of the things when it comes to these cryptocurrencies and understanding how they work and the dangers involved, and you know, even in, as Frank was just saying, even in a legitimate scenario, if you know, a simple thing like losing your digital key, and all of a sudden that money's gone, or that value, that cryptocurrency is gone, whatever you may have had in it, no way to recoup it. We're going to get into this a little more. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about this more. And by the way, if you have questions, give us a call, 615-737+. There's a number on your screen, 615-737-7587. This is an area, though, that I think is the fraudulent part is another area we're going to get into today, because even in the legitimate sense, it's extremely risky to be, when you're investing in cryptocurrencies, even one like Bitcoin. But then the fraud aspect of it is another area that you have to be even more concerned, and that's an area that's picking up, and we're going to talk about that as soon as we get back. So join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.